We traditionally start off with anything that anyone's got to show. So has anyone got to show anything? Garth and Kevin, okay. Garth put his hand up first, so take it away, Garth.
Okay, I gotta just want to show a picture of a car.
Right.
I gotta open it up. Hang on. Let's see where it is.
Should we talk about the weather while you're getting organized?
Okay.
That's it.
That's it. This, this bad boy, and I just wanted to talk about it because I was running it on my track this morning, and I have two of these cars you can see in the background there. I got this one has been modified. This one's got 3D wheels on it that I designed and Greg printed. They're PLAs, and it's got some weights in it. Okay, and it's got a Peter Pfister guide on it and different wiring and stuff on the inside. But the reason I wanted to talk about it is that I ran it around my track this morning for about 25 or 30 laps, and it was the most fun I had with a 143rd slot car ever. Okay, it was so much fun. Okay, this car by far is, and I don't have that many 143rd cars, but by far this was the smoothest running 143rd car I've ever had. It's just absolutely super. Okay, and so I'm hooked on SCX compact DTMs. Okay, the older ones. Okay, and
yep.
I just wanted to say how much fun it was. Oh, that's wrong. That's a different car. Okay, so I just wanted to show it. And it also broke my broke the lap record by 2 seconds.
Okay. That sounds like a lot. What have you done to it though? What have you done to it apart from the wheels and tires?
It's got the guide and all the guts of the thing are ripped out. The copper strips on the inside gone.
Yeah.
Silicone wiring on the motor. It's got a Peter Pfister extended guide. Okay, extra blade guide from Shapeways. It's got braids that are made out of solder wick, braiding.
Oh yes, yep.
Okay, so it can really sit down really low. It's got it also has a gel claw tires on the rear. It's got my 4-spoke design wheel printed in PLA for those. It's got 3/32 drill blank axles, custom, cut and fit by me. And it's got a lot of lead weight back by the rear, on the sides of the motor, back by the rear wheels, front of the rear wheels. And it just is
smooth.
It runs like a dream. I mean, it runs like it's just, it was a lot of fun. So, and I've got two orange ones, and I've got a green colored one. So I've got 3 DTMs, and I'm going to see if I can get my hands on some more because it was a lot of fun, like I said.
Those cars run quite well as stock. I've got the white one, the very early white version, and it's always been a good runner in amongst the Go cars and other SCX compacts.
It's funny you said that because after I sat there this morning and just ran it, and I probably made more than 25 laps. You got to understand, 25 laps on my track. My track is 250 feet long, so that's a lot of time spent. And it was probably more like 50 laps. And I hadn't run a lot of laps on the track in a while, and it was just it was so much fun to drive.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because of the performance that it had, that I just kept driving and kept driving and kept driving. And now and then after that, okay, I went out and got my hair cut. I know that's kind of a laugh because I don't have much hair to cut, but went out and had a few fringes cut off. And I came back and I put the other car on, which is completely stock. And I mean, I hesitate to even say night and day. I mean, it was just like I ran the other car around for a lap or so and said, it's like it's like it's like a kid discovering ice cream and then somebody telling you can't ever have it again. You know what I mean? So that was my fun for the
enjoying running a car is always a good sign of the way that a car performs. If you enjoy driving it, it's a good car. I've found that over the years with hosting proxy events, you get a feel for the car, and it turns out to be the leader of the pack.
Yeah, and the other fun for it was I had were the wheels. I had those wheels on my CUDA, okay, and I'm not sure I ever had it on. I didn't have that particular. I've had some of Peter Pfister's wheels on some of the SCX cars, but not that particular one that I designed. And it was the first wheel that I designed too. That's the other thing. After I started to learn Fusion, it was the very first attempt at designing a wheel. And so the fact that it ran so good, and I've got and the other thing is I got a whole drawer full of them. I got a bunch. I think I forget what Greg printed me, but I think I probably got about 20 of them. So I got enough to put them on quite a few cars.
Yep.
And I still got the file for it. So I've done a hell of a lot of wheels since that time. This is a few months back, 3 months back. And, so that was fun also.
Yep.
It's put me back on the motor. I was on this gig to get motors for the SCX cars. Okay. Thinking I had to have better motors and stuff, but man, I'm telling you that motor, it's just a stock motor, and it just, it's really quite good,
Yeah.
So and this is on a big Carrera track too. When we're talking about, I think it would be really super on a Go track or an SCX track.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it'll perform pretty well on any track probably. So yeah. Thanks, Garth. Kev, you ready to show something?
Yep. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yes.
Right. This is the project me and Leo have been working on. Can you show my
I'm trying to, yeah.
Right, there you go. I don't know if you can see properly, but 132nd car.
Yep.
143rd car and a HO car. And they will all run on this track, which Leo advised me to get. It's a Scalextric start track. And we're going to use this for a drag strip. So we can run all 3 scales on the drag strip. It'll be a full quarter-mile HO distance, so it'll be an 1/8 mile on the 132nd. I don't know what that works out on the 143rd, but yeah, thanks a lot for that, Leo.
Right. Well, as I mentioned, I've got
what track is that? What track is that again?
It's the Scalextric Start.
Start.
Yeah.
Is that just regular Scalextric or?
No, because what I've bought here, I've got the.
Oh, it's a smaller than.
No, it's the same. It's in fact it's a bit bigger than Scalextric. This is the. I don't know if you can see there. Let me see if I can show you. This here.
Yeah.
Is the connection to Scalextric Sport.
adapter.
Yeah, and this is the Scalextric Start. We have another connection here, obviously. There's 4 pieces.
It's wider than
yeah.
regular Scalextric,
which made it possible to use the HO cars as well because of the wide skid pickups.
Oh, so it's got a plastic, the slot's plastic then? It's like a Carrera. Slots
Yeah,
like a
it's
Carrera.
very similar to a Carrera, yeah.
Okay, I got you.
It's the same width as Scalextric Sport, and the slot spacing is the same as Scalextric Sport. So the adapter is basically reducing the spacing between the rails. As you can see, it sort of tapers to a narrow spacing of the rails. But apart from the rail spacing, it's the same dimensions as Scalextric Sport.
So you can actually add that into a regular Scalextric Sport. Then is that the idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got enough straights now to do the quarter mile, and then I've got these adapter pieces for either end, so I can put the runoff section and the start section as a in Scalextric Sport, which I've got loads.
Kevin, have you seen Alan's drag strip?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's
yeah.
Alan,
That's
what
nice.
yours is that HO, that the rails on yours?
Well, I've got two of them.
Okay.
One is a continuous rail HO, and the other one is a routed braid.
Routed braid. Okay.
So that's my show and tell then today.
Kev, what do you intend to do as far as the guide pin on the HO? It's 1/16. Are you going to put a tube on it?
No, I'm just going to let them run as they are. Both cars will be running the same.
Okay.
So I'm just going to let them run. It's just going to be an on-off switch. There's not going to be no reaction time. So both cars will just run however they're going to run.
Straight. Yeah, an advantage of using the start track is that it's rigid. It's rigid plastic, so it'll be very flat. As long as you've got a reasonably flat surface to run it on, the running surface of the track will be pretty flat. And you need that. We need that for a drag strip. Having a drag strip built with flexible track like Scalextric Sport, or heaven forbid, Scalextric Classic track, it'll be bumpy at the joins. The joins become distorted or whatever. So the cars, tend to leap out the track because they're going so quickly.
Hey, Leo.
Yep.
Lloyd's had his finger pointing to the sun for a while.
Right. He must have seen something interesting. Hit us, Lloyd. Hit us.
There's no sun here to be pointing at today, so I like the arrangement you got there, but do the HO cars go backwards?
Yes, they do. Yes.
Yeah, they would do if you'd connected them up the same way as the 132nd and the 143rd.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to use crocodile clips and swap them over. So.
Yeah, as long as you remember which way switch. That I found out the hard way that the
very
HO
short
cars
race.
go. Yes.
It would be a very short race if I didn't.
Yeah. So yes, if you don't want to damage the skirting board, you need to watch out for that. Anybody else got something to show? Or?
I can't show it because it's not in here, but I have a Carrera Go Mario set.
Right.
Figure of 8 without the loop. I started off by putting an elastic band on each controller so that our 4-year-old granddaughter could control it. That lasted 2 laps before we took the rubber band off, and she is driving it perfectly okay. For the first few laps, there was a few takeoffs and flying off the end, but she soon learned how to hold it and keep it going around at a steady pace.
Right.
So it just shows you that I have always considered Carrera Go cars to be too fast for young children. And she cannot drive it anywhere near maximum speed, but she's driving it round and round and controlling it around the track. So we've only had 2 or 3 sessions of it, a quarter of an hour each. So she hasn't done it for very long yet, but I'm impressed at how a young person can learn these things quickly.
Yeah, yes. I think as long as they stay away from the turbo boost button, then it runs okay.
That was my problem. It was me who kept hitting the turbo boost when I wasn't trying to.
Right. I'm sure that Carrera say that the boost button is only for going round the loops, basically.
It is, yeah.
So so people can still, of course, you know, young boy children tend to want the full speed. They have the need for speed, and they want to use the boost button all the time, but it doesn't work. It just crashes. They just crash off the corners.
Mine are my grandchildren are. There's only 1 boy and 7 girls, and the girls are cutthroat. Okay, they're wicked.
Yeah, yep.
And when I was doing exhibitions, always the girls were so much better than the boys at controlling them.
Yeah.
Better temperament, yes. That's what sexist, probably. Alan has got his hand raised now.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to do this or not. We'll try it. I will attempt to show you a couple poor pictures of my latest 3D creation that came off the printer this morning. So we'll see if we can come up with it. Yeah, these are poor pictures, so I apologize. Did that come up okay?
Yes.
Okay. Again, it's a poor picture, but this is a new experiment as far as it's a 66 Corvair Stinger.
Right.
And I did it in 1/43rd. And this is a new rosin. It's quite durable. It's not as brittle as the standard run of the mill. And it takes a while to print, but it came out pretty decent. Let me see if we can get another one here. Yeah, they're poor pictures. I'm sorry for that. That's a side view.
Nice keyboard.
And of course, the rear end. Yeah, I took these on the fly real fast when it came off of the printer, but I'm very impressed with the rosin. It's like I say, it's a lot more durable, and but it's pricey. The typical run-of-the-mill rosin runs about $39 for 100K or 100 or 1,000K bottle, which is a pretty big bottle. This is $89, so it's up there in price, but it's quite durable. So I think it's going to be worth it.
Yeah,
that's what I've got.
What's the difference between a Stinger and a Monza?
What'd you say, Lee?
What's the difference between a Stinger and a Monza, the Corvair Monza?
Well, the standard Corvair Monza is exactly that. It's it's a standard Chevrolet car, and they had the different versions as far as the engine is concerned. It was a 6-cylinder horizontally opposed, and the stock one was available in 105 horsepower, 140 horsepower, and then the Corsa was the turbocharged, which was 180. Now the Stinger, a Chevrolet dealer back in the 60s took something like 100 of these. It was called Yanko.
Oh.
And they did some modifications to it, heavier roll bar, sway bars, and so forth. And the highest version was 240 horsepower, non-turbocharged, and it had a little spoiler on the back, but it also had these louvers on the back hood where the engine was that would flip up and induce more cooling. And they're very rare today. There's still something like about 60 of them in existence. And they just recently had a race over here in the Chicago area with a couple of these stingers in it, and it blew the Porsche 911s completely off the track.
Okay.
So it's a wicked little machine.
Yeah. Yep. Right. Okay.
There was one of those racing in England in special saloons, and it was covered in little louvers.
Okay.
I don't think they were movable louvers, but it was dark metallic blue, and it had lots of little punched louvers all over what you call the hood at the back there. And as far as I know, it was around for quite a long time in British racing. If you look under something which we call special saloons, you should find it.
Yeah. The Stinger actually came out. Yanko got him, I think it was in 1965. And he produced 1965, 66, and 67s. And like I say, he did, I think, something like 100 of each. And there's either 60 or 80 that are in existence today. And they go for a pretty high dollar if you want one.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm a bit of a Corvair fan. But I've heard of Stingers before, but I never really knew what it was.
I had it was a 64 Corvair convertible. And it was back then, before the 65s came out, the 64 was it was the first body style. And the high performance model was called the Spider. And that was the turbocharged machine. And I had more darn fun with that car. And of course, I don't know if you know the history behind it, but we had a clown over here by the name of Ralph Nader. Yeah, who was a big advocate, and he actually put the death to the Corvair, supposedly because of the handling. Well, that car, in my opinion, handled much better than the Corvette and the GTO I had. It was that thing would go around corners like you wouldn't believe.
Yep.
And I don't know how many times I didn't make the corner of my GTO and bounced up over the curb and on somebody's lawn. But we won't go there.
Any update on your test track, Alan?
Say again, Kev?
Your test track that you were doing. Any update on that, mate?
The only thing I've done to the test track is I've put a couple more coats of paint on it and let that set up. And I have put the 3M double-sided tape down where the braid is going to go. And I'm letting that set up. And I will probably go ahead and clean the braid with mineral spirits today and then go ahead and apply the braid. So that's where I'm at with that. The other thing I've been doing, I've been busy putting my, I got a new 3D printer, a FDM printer. And I got it as a kit, so I've been spending the last couple of days putting that together. I know this isn't a solution for, some of you guys there, but I, for the last year, have been printing my own pinions and crowns. There's one on the end right now. This is a 9-pin or 9-tooth pinion with a 1.5 millimeter shaft.
And is that resin, Al?
It's resin.
Okay.
And I've had no failures as far as, in fact, this gear here went into a stock SCX chassis with the stock motor and the stock crown gear. And I mean, it's held up, no problems at all, showing no sign of wear.
Ooh, that sounds great. Do you have to glue it onto the shaft, or is it a tight push fit?
Well, basically, through a little tiny bit of experimentation, I had to do a multitude of prints to get to a size that was firm enough that I could go ahead and push it on that shaft, and I'm getting no slippage.
Yeah, right.
So I had to tinker with the measurements a little bit.
Yeah. That's quite a fine adjustment you must have made then to get a push fit.
Yeah, and it's I use I don't put it on the shaft and try and run it down and everything. I've got some, you guys have seen them, the regular gear removal tools and presses and everything like that.
Yeah.
That I use so that I can get everything all nice and lined up so it goes down on the shaft real nice.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that was discussed on this was a couple weeks ago on Greg's Worldwide Slot, gentlemen were talking about adding weight, and they were talking about the traditional lead weights, and you can get them too high and they'll tip over and everything. I started doing some searching, and I found the topic of tungsten came up, which is quite heavy.
Yeah,
and I found a
tungsten
source that's been staring us in the face for a long time. You may recognize the name, which is called Woodland Scenics.
Oh.
They have a lot of scenic material for model railroading.
Yeah.
Well, they also have a product line for Pine Derby cars, and they offer tungsten weight in all different shapes and sizes. I was really surprised at the amount. So in my way of thinking, you've got a tungsten weight, small physical size, but heavy in weight. We could be putting that into the 143 cars and keeping a lower center of gravity.
Yep.
That's with the pine. So they sell that with the pine. If you find the Pinewood Derby car, you're going to find the tungsten weights with Woodland Seeds. That's exactly a good tip, Alan.
I went into Hobby Lobby the other day, and well, not actually the other day. My God, it was probably a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, in the one section there where they have all the Pine Derby stuff, the bodies that you can carve down and the axles and wheels, and right there on the peg, nice little card, different sizes. They got round, square, and then the different weights.
That could be driven by not letting children, dealing with lead. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
could very well be.
How expensive is that, Alan? Because I know that what the fishermen use over here, the tungsten putty, that the fishermen use on the end of the lines for the weights, that's very expensive. But that's like plasticine. You can make it shape and what size you want, however much weight you want, whatever shape you want.
I don't recall the price. I want to say that
I know the putty is very expensive.
I think it was around $10 for that card. Now I don't know how much weight, how many pieces and stuff were in there. I think it was about $10. Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
Yeah, somebody was. I think I heard somebody using welding rod, tungsten welding rod.
There's a bit of tungsten in that.
Okay. And cutting it off or something using little, and it's really relevant to the 143rd scale because, you want to have a lot of weight that you can move around, you know what I mean? And if you're using lead, I personally use fishing sinkers, but because I'm too cheap to actually buy slot car lead, so but I end up having to beat it down and saw it and hack it, and it's difficult to make it into a shape that where I can stick it into a car, you know what I mean? But
I got a piece of the roofing lead off a guy.
Roofing lead, yeah.
One of the guys that did a couple of jobs for me on a piece of roofing lead, and it was only 1 foot by 12 inches by 12 inches, and it's still a huge piece still here. I've only cut little bits off it, but it just lasts forever.
Yeah, or you can buy it at Professor Motor for $5 for a little square this big. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's the same damn thing, So.
Yeah, I got that for free.
I was playing around with weights a while ago, and just out of orneriness, I wanted to try something as far as tuning was concerned. And this was a 143rd car on an oval, and I took a 1/4 inch bolt which was 1 inch long. And I went ahead and I epoxied that behind the rear axle right in the middle. And then I used nuts and screwed it on to that bolt. And I was surprised the location of that bolt going, or the nut going up and down on the bolt itself was actually affecting the center of gravity. And I was able to actually position it on that bolt and be able to affect the performance of that car based on the location of the nut going up and down on that bolt.
That's got to be Garth's car, that one,
Yeah.
a lot of lead in there.
Look at the weight in this thing. This is my first car. Those are fishing sinkers there, but
yeah.
this
2
is
laps and the motor's
this
broken.
is like the roofing lead kind of, you know, sheet lead, and those are smashed down sinkers too. That's a little bit better picture of it. I think these are my favorites. Okay, these are like line weights. Okay, and they come in different sizes, and you can get a big bag of them for like $2, you know, and you just smash them down with a hammer, and then, you know, you end up with this, you know, squash oval, and then you just cut the bottom of the oval off, and you got a slot car weight, you know. So I like them because they're cheap.
Wearing gloves while you're doing that, presumably.
Yeah, and then that is true, and I am so you know, worried about that when I'm goofing around with it. I always, when I'm all done doing it, I go right to the sink and I wash the shit out of my hands and get the lead off my.
You've always got to rub your eyes first, though, before you wash it.
Yeah, just keep it away from your, you know, just trying to.
If you're looking,
Although I think I did enough of that stuff as a kid, and I
exactly.
If you're looking for just a little bit of weight to easily apply in various places or small spaces, go to a sporting goods or a golf pro shop, and they have very thin weight, and on the back of it is a very thin double-sided tape, and you can cut it with scissors to any shape, any size you want, and stick it right wherever you want. It's really nice for that fine tuning for minuscule pieces of weight.
Yep. What
I have used before now as well. I've used, you know, the weights that you put on full-size cars on the wheels to balance the wheel.
Yeah.
And you can get them coming down to very, very small weights. And the good thing about them, they already have the the adhesive on the back of them.
Yep.
And I tell you what, it sticks, that stuff.
Well, these particular ones I'm talking about, Kev, are the weight itself. They're actually used for weighting and balancing golf clubs.
Yeah, I was just going to say
and
that.
The actual lead itself is very, very thin. It's probably about a 32nd as far as thickness is concerned. So it's good stuff to work with.
Here's one that's NASCAR. This is a SCX NASCAR. That's a good shot of the gears, by the way. You know, these gears, you know, and this is the old SCX. I guess the difference is the black. The newer ones have black color to them.
Yep.
But these, you know, and according to Stefan, these are the better of the gears. You know.
Yep.
So, I don't think I see if I got any more weights on these.
How come your chassis are all so clean? Mine are filthy dirty after I've done a few laps.
Well, because I don't really run that much on these. I'm just, you know, you know, this, most of these, look at those. See, you know, that's Peter's guides on a couple of NASCARs. I think these are the ones that maybe went to my, in fact, I know they are. These are the ones that went to my granddaughter. She's got these 2 cars now. doing pretty good. I kept these two. These were the newer ones, and then I gave her those with the SCX. I gave her 2 sets of SCX, track and a couple of those NASCARs. And she's 7, and she's, she beats the shit out of her dad with them, from what I hear. So
on the lead weights business, what I have is lead strip, which is intended for decorating your windows, making your windows look like they're leaded glass windows. But fake look, as it were, and that's self-adhesive as well. Fairly light, but as you say, it's fine for sort of fine tuning, and it sticks pretty well. So you can either stick it underneath or inside the car.
I wondered, Alan, what tungsten? Can you saw that? I mean, is it difficult to cut to size and stuff? I mean, is it like steel? I mean, or
I have no idea. I've never tried to do it. I think it would be difficult. That stuff is supposed to be quite durable. So
okay, so it's even probably, that's what I was thinking too. It's like that.
Yeah, I have no idea about that.
That's
I think
probably
that's
what the advantage is for the tungsten putty, because that stuff's just like plasticine. You can mold it and shape it any way you like.
right.
Tungsten putty.
Yeah. Okay. It's like what fishermen use.
Oh, okay.
It's expensive though.
What does Dennis Sampson use in his tungsten weighted guides? He has the guide blade, drills holes in the guide and fits tungsten pellets into that. I don't know where those pellets come from.
Yeah, I think they're are they pellets that he uses, or
I think that's what he describes them as.
okay. I thought it might be rod.
I forget what they were sold as, like what the product description is, but he basically ends up with a bag full of tiny little discs of tungsten that he then has to go through and measure to find the ones that are closest to the guide thickness, or half of the guide thickness to double them up. And then he ends up discarding a good portion of what he buys because it's too much work to make them fit in his guides, and they're not worth trying to use in some other fashion.
Right.
I think he stopped doing that just because it's so much of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
because I think he encapsulates them in epoxy, right? Greg?
Yes.
And then
It's a lot of work for. I mean, it's like he says, it's below the center of gravity. It's below the track surface, so it's beneficial, but it's such a small gain. I mean, it's still only a few grams. I mean, not even a few grams. Looks like Alan has something.
Yeah.
Liquid
I don't know if
gravity.
you can see that or not.
It's
Liquid
coming and
gravity.
going.
Put it in front of your face and it'll.
That's
yeah,
it.
This little container that I have in my hand right now, it's a powder.
Right. Move
And
to the
you
right, please,
pour
Alan.
it in, and then you put like a glue over it. This little container weighs 1 pound. It's quite heavy. It's called Liquid Gravity out of Deluxe. And I think it's a UK-based company, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that.
Dulux.
But that stuff is absolutely great for adding weight wherever you want it.
Oh, okay.
Is it? It's powdered, Alan?
It's a powder,
Okay.
and you pour it into wherever, and then pour your glue over it, like white glue or yellow glue or whatever the case may be, and it absorbs down into it. Again, it's another workable product there that you can put into all the nooks and crannies. And like I say, that little container weighs 1 pound.
Right. Well, my local hobby shop, well, my other local hobby shop, sells it. I've just found.
Yeah, that's it.
So, yep, and it's quite expensive at $9.99 for a small bottle. But so this is Wonderland Models, who are a fairly big model shop in centre of Edinburgh.
Yeah.
What
This is a
what is the
UK
material?
product.
Yeah.
Is it tungsten or something? I mean, what is it? Is it just steel or?
It almost, when I look at it, Garth, it almost looks like a powdered iron ore.
Yeah.
Doesn't say what it is. Easy
Not
flowing.
toxic, whatever it is.
It's very, very fine.
Yeah.
But I'd have to say it's not a powder as much as it is a granule.
Okay.
Well, they're saying, yeah, put it in place and super glue it to set it in. Used to improve electric conductivity and stability of rolling stock. Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, maybe that's just the weight. The weight helps keep the wheels in contact with the rails, I suppose. Suppose that'd be what it's doing there.
Yeah, it just adds weight. It doesn't say what it's made out of.
No.
Other than, I think it's some type of metal, because in another language here, I think it's.
I wonder if it's magnetic. Put a magnet up against it.
Well, it's definitely, it's a ferrous material.
Oh, it is? Okay. So I don't know how they could say it's non-toxic then. I guess they could say it's non-toxic. Just don't swallow it, right? Yeah.
I think we better wind up. See how this ends up. So should we all say good night, and but we can hang on afterwards and finish off any further conversation. But I'll stop the video, and should we all say good night?
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for good chat.
Right.
See you next week.
Hey,